she came home.
Carlisle's lost an empire. You fall hard enough, you tend to be reminded of what truly matters. So, the end of the line. You ready for this?
Are you? Who will you be, without a score to settle?
I guess the world's most wanted fugitive will have to do.
Alexa Carlisle is dead. According to the funeral invitation, that is. So naturally, it caused quite a stir when the late matriarch turned up at the breakfast table, alive and kicking. Carlisle, wisely sensing that her number is up, has emerged from exile to tie up loose ends and secure the Carlisle legacy. She may be a monster, but you have to admire her due diligence. Carlisle descends from an ancient line of warrior aristocrats. Her great-grandfather made a killing in the Second Opium War and established an empire in shipping, railroads, and newspaper publishing. While largely unknown to the public, the family still asserts its quiet dominance over global transport and logistics, media, and technology. Most senior of the partners, Alexa Carlisle, is cold as ice, tough as nails, and sharp as a razor. Incidentally, it was her late father who first brought the three families together after the end of World War II at this very house, meaning that this gentleman is the birthplace of Providence.
It began here, and it ends here. Talk about poetic.
One more thing. According to our intel, Carlisle keeps a case file on the Constant. Information that may be helpful in his recapture, so don't leave the estate without it.
Right. Happy hunting, 47. See you on the other side.
Thornbridge Manor. The Carlisle family's home for countless generations. The Revenant Alexa Carlisle and her 3 adult children, younger brother Zachary, grandson, and daughter-in-law, are all gathered to conduct Carlisle's sham funeral. Curiously, Carlisle summoned a famous London PI soon after arriving this morning, but his purpose at Thornbridge is yet unclear. Now, the target knows that you're coming, and her guard detail is top-notch. So Mr. Gray will secure their nearby field HQ and intercept all calls going in and out of the estate. Any appeal for backup is going to fall on very deaf ears. Good luck, gentlemen.
Howdy folks, welcome back to Wannabe YT. I'm Barky, and today we're playing Hitman. Welcome to Dartmoor. It's time to finally put an end to Providence. Let's eliminate Alexa Carlisle. Hello, what's going on here then? Mission story.
Phineas Whitmer, private investigator. I have an appointment with Madame Carlisle. Please wait.
Mr. Whitmer is here to see Madame Carlisle. You can go right in.
That is Phineas Whitmer, the famous private investigator hired by Madame Carlisle this morning. I'm curious why he's here. Maybe you should do some detecting yourself, 47. A famous private investigator summoned by Alexa Carlisle has arrived at Thornbridge Manor. If you take his place, it may be an opportunity to get close to Madame Carlisle.
It might be. I mean, it probably will, being told a submission story. Either way, it's bound to be a very good way to sneak in. Let's see if I can get his disguise. This might take a mo. Yeah, come on here.
Good job.
And...
Whoa!
got him! Alright then. I guess 47's a private investigator now. I mean, to be fair, if you commit crimes, then you're bound to be pretty good at solving them. So what's going on here then?
Mr. Whitmer, thank God you're here. Can I take you to Madame Carlisle?
Yes, please.
If you'd follow me. I know I oughtn't say anything, but I'm so relieved you're here. Everything's just so strange. Preparing for Madam's funeral, and then she turns up alive. But then the awful business with her brother Zachary. And all this security. I've never seen the place guarded like this, and I dare say I don't like it at all. This is what I mean. You have to be patted down before you see Madame Carlisle inside. Oh, I could just
All
cry.
right there.
Ah,
Sir, if you want to come through, I'm gonna have to pat you down.
security. I don't think they're gonna like the gun I'm trying to sneak in. Fortunately, this is Hitman, which means that there's bound to be a conveniently placed open window I can climb through right here. Good thing that in the Hitman universe, the world's most influential people have really poor security systems.
Mr. Whitmer, thank you for coming on such short notice. A great tragedy has fallen upon us, and I need a quick resolution, handled with absolute discretion.
Results and discretion are my speciality.
Very well. I suppose you will want to start at the crime scene.
In my experience, a thorough examination of a potential crime scene is half the job done.
Good. Fernsby will take over from here.
I am Mr. Fernsby, the butler. Madame Carlisle has asked me to assist you in any way possible. Mr. Whitmer, I understand that you've traveled from London. Would you care for some refreshments? Or do you prefer to go straight to Mr. Zachary's sleeping quarters?
Let's start now.
I prefer to get started.
As you wish. If you'll follow me, sir.
So, Miss Carlisle wants us to investigate some sort of tragic incident that happened recently. What on earth could have been going on here?
I feel obliged to point out that current affairs surrounding Madame Carlisle are of a delicate nature.
You don't say.
You may be familiar with the recent announcement of her death. You will probably learn that a staged funeral is scheduled to take place tomorrow. Madame's children were not informed until this morning that their mother was in fact not dead at all. So please bear with them if they seem affected by the rather unusual situation. I trust I do not need to remind you that there will be consequences if word gets out that Madame Carlisle is still alive.
I'll consider her dead when I leave.
Before you inspect the crime scene, I will tell you this. The case concerns the death of Mr. Zachary, Madame Carlisle's younger brother. He was found dead in his bed this morning. The door was locked from the inside, and a suicide letter was found in his room. However, Madame Carlisle suspects foul play and will not accept that he took his own life. I've prepared some information for you, so please do come and see me when you've finished your investigation of the crime scene. This is Mr. Zachary's room, to my right.
Alright, quite exciting. Let's begin.
A locked room murder mystery, 47. I trust you'll get to the bottom of this.
Well, I better, otherwise I'll have no way to justify why I spent so much time on that intro. Right then. Welcome to Zachary's room.
Why don't you use your camera to scan the dead body, 47?
Diana, are you asking me to take a picture of a corpse? Well, we really are reaching new lows. Oh dear.
Throat markings indicate a rare, short-lived plant poison killed him. Spread shows time of death at around 10 o'clock last night.
You do know your poisons, 47.
Right, well, at least it paid off. We know the time of death and the murder weapon. Anything good on the computer? Fascinating. Well, we've already learnt 3 things.
Zachary was shopping for new Wellingtons last night. Not exactly what you would expect from someone suicidal.
Make that 4. So, we know the time of death, 10 o'clock. The murder weapon was a plant-based poison. There's really poor connectivity in mansions in Dartmoor. And Zachary was looking at wellies before he died. Also, according to the intel file, there are 4 more clues in this room.
Zachary's suicide note. Also, a sample of handwriting. It
Good thinking, Diana.
could be relevant to compare to other samples to establish its authenticity.
So we should also keep an eye out for things that we know were written by Zachary Carlisle. And like that, we can compare it to the suicide note and see if he wrote it. And if it isn't, well then we might need a sample of all the other suspects' writing. Speaking of which, I should probably go and interview them soon. But first, another piece of intel.
A hidden door.
It's a secret passage. This could explain how the door was locked from the inside.
So it is entirely possible that someone snuck in here and poisoned the bottle of whiskey kept by Zachary's bed. Interesting. I think there's one more clue to be found here. There it is.
A photocopy of the floor plans. Somebody's been researching the secret ins and outs of Thornbridge Manor. I believe you've done a thorough search of the crime scene, 47. Maybe it's time to see the butler. I'm curious about the information he's prepared for you.
But there's still one more clue to be... oh no. I suppose we've found plenty here already, to be fair. I mean... we know that someone is aware of this secret passage, and therefore someone in this building definitely had the means to eliminate Zachary Carlisle. What's this? A mysterious switch. Missing item. Right, so the secret passage needs a key from this side. Well, that really narrows down the number of people who have access to this place. I wonder who does.
Mr. Fernsby, I'm done with the crime scene.
Did you establish a time of death?
Zachary died around 10 o'clock last night.
Well, that means the staff were off duty. And Madame Carlisle and her security didn't arrive until this morning. That leaves Madame's family and myself as the only persons here when he died. And before you ask, no, I do not have an alibi. I was alone in my office at the time of death. Here's the material that I prepared for you. It's a list of the possible suspects and their quarters. Hopefully that will help you keep track of your findings. Please come and see me when you've solved the case, and I will take you to Madame Carlisle.
Alright.
This is very useful information, 47.
You gonna elaborate on that, or...?
So how does one solve a murder mystery, 47? Motive, means, and opportunity, I believe. May I suggest you ask the suspects for alibis? Or perhaps do you prefer searching the manor for clues first?
You know, Diana, I think I'll start off by searching the manor for clues. With any luck, we'll stumble across the empty bottle containing the poison. Because that wasn't present at Zachary's room.
Yeah, same.
That door leads to Emma and Gregory's room.
Alright. Our first suspects, and their door is locked. Alright. Thankfully, 47 is pretty good at finding his way around locked doors. I bet you we can find a way through here. There we go. Right. What secrets does this room hide? What's that on the floor there?
A keychain pendant for the greenhouse.
The greenhouse? Where Zachary Carlisle grew exotic plants.
What's that doing in Emma and Gregory's room, I wonder? And why is the key missing?
How odd. Alright. They've got the key to Zachary's greenhouse, where he's got all of his exotic plants. And a bulldog cane. Apparently that's important, but I really don't see how. It might have something to do with an alibi, I don't know. Well, the letter opener is not important to the case, that's for sure. That's all I can see. Alright then. Time to start questioning. Emma and Gregory Carlisle should be just ahead.
And that solicitor upstairs.
I wonder what their take on the story will be.
Why do you think he's here?
I think solicitors are Mother's favorite kind of people. Can't remember ever having a family event without one tucked away in a room somewhere. Due diligence always trumped the family.
I think he's here to cut us from her will.
Very ridiculous. Imagine the scandal if the firstborn son didn't pick up the torch. That will never happen.
Heritage. They did think Alexa was dead. It's a strong motive.
Emma Carlisle, can you tell me where you were yesterday evening?
Surely I'm not a suspect.
I need to account for everyone.
Well, I spent the evening with my family, but I got an awful migraine and had to take to bed. Everyone can attest to that. I believe I went up when the boys sat down for a drink around 8 o'clock. Is that all?
How did you feel about Zachary?
I might as well be honest. His presence was always awkward. But how do you have a meaningful conversation with a man who only cares about plants? In my opinion, Alexa bears some responsibility for how this ended. She supported his self-limiting behavior by letting him live here. Anything else you want to know?
Have you noticed anything else out of the ordinary?
Nothing special comes to mind. Except, perhaps, I did get a feeling that Zachary was depressed, not just sad. I suppose he realized that he had no one with Alexa gone. Even Alexa must feel the pangs of guilt over that one, letting him believe she was dead. Then again, guilt isn't her strong suit.
Right then, Emma Carlisle. Wife of Gregory, daughter-in-law to Madame Carlisle. She went up at about 8 o'clock claiming she had an awful migraine. Not a strong alibi, but an alibi nonetheless. She did tell us that Zachary Carlisle was looking a bit depressed before his death. Which isn't strong evidence, but it is evidence nonetheless to suggest he may have killed himself. On to Gregory.
Gregory Carlisle, can you tell me where you were yesterday evening?
Oh, you're wondering about my alibi, Mr. Detective. Well, I left Thornbridge around 8:30 for a pint with Edward. I wish I hadn't. Quiz night at the inn. On the other hand, staying here with Zachary, my obnoxious sister, and the wife sporting another one of her headaches would have been a fate worse than death. The short of it, Zachary was very much alive when we left. I stayed for the last shout, and I was back here just before midnight. Anything else you want to pry from my intricate intellect?
Tell me about Zachary.
Zach? Huh. Such a sad old sod. A bit heavy on the bottle, but who could blame him? Only company he had was his rare plants and mother, who travels more than she stays here. Honestly, I can't say which is the bigger bore. He's better off dead. Is that all? Not very thorough, are you?
Anything else you'd like to tell me?
Nothing really. I'm just enjoying the show. Our perfect mother obviously fucked up, didn't she? Faking her own death. You know, she's explained nothing to us. I think she's scared to own up to her own mistake.
Right, Gregory Carlisle. The oldest son, therefore, as he said, the one who's most likely to carry the torch for the Carlisle family. He went over to the pub at 8 o'clock with Edward Carlisle and came back at about 12, so completely missed the time of death of the victim. That's a strong alibi. Or at least it would be if Edward Carlisle backs that up. Otherwise, it's going to be strong evidence to suggest that he is the murderer. Right. Well, I think it's about time I saw that greenhouse, because all of this greenhouse key business is kind of intriguing me. I'd also like to check the area for a break-in. After all, the game is called Hitman after all. Let's not rule out the fact that this could have been committed by an outsider. I also appear to have stumbled across a mission story. What's all this about then? A family photo? Gotta learn more.
So, Madame Carlisle wants a picture taken. If you were to assist with the missing fuse, I'm sure the portrait would be one for the ages.
I might come back to that one. For now, let's focus on this murder mystery. How do I get into this greenhouse?
I don't believe for a second.
It appears to be locked.
Suicide. We'd only just run through his plan for the spring seedlings yesterday.
Yes, sure. But he was upset believing his sister was dead.
I'd say worried about how things will be handled with Gregory and Emma taking over. I said they let him stay here,
But Ethel was sure Emma would throw him out first chance she got. And now we'll never know.
Oh my. You're taking this hard, aren't you?
Well, that changes a lot. Zachary Carlisle was making long-term plans before he died, which very, very, very strongly insinuates he didn't kill himself. In fact, I'd just go as far as to say he definitely didn't. But that means... who did? Well, for one, the gardener did mention the heritage. Emma and Gregory Carlisle were almost certainly going to inherit the household, so that's a pretty strong motive. But it isn't strong enough. We've yet to find the means and the opportunity as well. I'm kind of hoping this greenhouse will give me the answers, but I'm not quite sure how to, well, get in. I guess I'm just gonna have to go loud with the crowbar. Here we go. Alright then. Boat key. Alright. Oh, that's just something I can use. Alright, that's just an exit. It's not evidence. Oh, hang on. Zachary was growing flowers in his greenhouse. They're only emetic, though.
Broken lab equipment. It looks like it was recently used, though.
I'm sorry, what? I gotta see what that lab equipment does. We know Zachary was killed using a plant-based poison. So if it's possible to make lethal poison in that greenhouse, then I think we'll have found our murder weapon. Right, produce poison. So we just take that emetic flower and it becomes... bingo! Alright then. Well, we found our murder weapon. And the key to this greenhouse was found in Emma and Gregory's room. They'll have a lot to explain.
This is a table showing lethal dosages for the poison used to kill Zachary.
Something is circled 47. Female, age 65 to 79, 60 to 64 kilograms. I'd say Madame Carlisle is next in line for a poisoning.
Oh. We found some pretty strong suspects here. The question is... Well, there are actually quite a few questions left to answer. One, I still haven't ensured that this isn't some outsider job. A hitman hasn't snuck into this, let's be honest, pretty poorly guarded building and just killed Zachary Carlisle. Two, although we're fairly certain that Emma and Gregory Carlisle were involved, we're not too certain whether it's both of them or just one of the two. And finally, though I have a very strong hunch on the motive, we're still not sure exactly what it is. It's definitely something to do with heritage. There's a reason that Alexa Carlisle looks to be next in line for the poisoning. I'm also very unsure whether this is just a red herring thrown at me by the developers. Well, I'm not going to find all these answers by sitting around in the garden.
Gentlemen.
Let's continue investigating.
Coat and all. Rosie, you need to forget about Patrick. No good's gonna come of it. Stick to your own kind.
You mean like Chris? He treated me like shit. All he wanted to do was play his stupid video games, never any romance. I deserve romance.
Alright, something about Patrick, probably Patrick Carlisle, and one of the staff members. I suppose we'll piece that one together later. Let's focus on our next suspect. That next suspect being Rebecca Carlisle.
Rebecca Carlisle, can you tell me about yesterday evening?
We don't really see much of each other, my brothers and I. I suppose it takes our mother's funeral to bring us together, and even then, it's not like we sit on each other's laps. Now, let's see. Patrick, Gregory's son, disappeared straight after dinner. You know, I think he might be in some sort of trouble. Edward wanted to go as well, but Gregory convinced him to stay for a few drinks before they went off for a pint at the local at 9:15. I swear Gregory enjoys Edward's discomfort over staying here. I had a conference call with my New York office at 9, so I spent 3 hours on my laptop in my room and went straight to bed afterwards. I don't know about Emma. She did act a bit strange. You know, I bet she was making lists for changes needing to be done once she gets her hands on Thornbridge Manor. Quite the shock she had when Mother arrived during breakfast. Is there anything else you want to ask me?
Tell me about Zachary. Did he act strange last night?
You know, now you mention it, he was a lot more chatty than usual. He wanted to know about my connections in the publishing business. Apparently, a friend of his is writing a book, which strikes me as very peculiar. I didn't think he had any friends. Is that everything, Mr. Whitmer?
Anything else you feel like mentioning?
I may be wrong, but I saw Mr. Fernsby, the butler, leave Zachary's room early this afternoon. And he seemed a bit startled when he saw me in the hallway. It's probably nothing. Oh, and one more thing. Please be kind to Edward. He can only take so much.
Right, Rebecca Carlisle, the youngest daughter of Alexa Carlisle. She claims to have had a business meeting at 8 o'clock. A fairly solid alibi if we find evidence to back that up. She has also confirmed that Emma and Gregory Carlisle are going to inherit the house, and Emma appears to be looking forward to it. She's already making plans. The clues suggesting that it's Emma and Gregory Carlisle are simply piling up, but unfortunately we don't have any solid evidence of their involvement. I think it's about time I investigated their room again. There are a few clues I missed according to the intel file. But where could it be? There's something I meant to scan here. Is it? There we go. Shoes. So, Emma Carlisle owns shoes. Alright. I'm gonna be honest, I was kind of expecting more conclusive evidence. After all, the couple is going to inherit the household, and the keys to the greenhouse where the plant-based poison was made were found in this very room. Now, unless someone's trying to frame them...
Now this is interesting, 47.
Hello, what's that?
A letter from Emma's mother stating that Emma is the illegitimate child of Alexa's late older brother, Montgomery. And listen to this. She claims to have witnessed Alexa and Zachary murder him. The plot thickens. You have uncovered enough evidence to tell Madame Carlisle that Emma is the murderer. Quite the detective, 47. I'm impressed. I suggest you go tell Mr. Fernsby. Unless you think there are more secrets to uncover.
As a matter of fact, Diana, I think there are. I mean, sure, we do have enough evidence to arrest Emma, but we're missing the full story. We've got the motive. and we've got the opportunity. But what are the means? Well, my search for answers eventually brought me to the butler's room, where I found another interesting piece of evidence.
Painkiller. Lethal if you use enough of them.
But not the poison used to kill Zachary. Of course, Madame Carlisle doesn't know that. Are you considering to frame the butler, 47?
Alright, let's review the evidence. Here are our suspects. First up is Zachary Carlisle, the victim. Time of death, 10 o'clock at night due to a plant-based poison. The state of the crime scene suggests that he was a suicide, although the fact that he made long-term plans strongly insinuates that he didn't kill himself. Gregory Carlisle, the oldest son, out at the pub with Edward Carlisle during the time of death. Unless they were working together in that cover story, then the alibis check out. They definitely weren't involved in the murder. Next up, Rebecca Carlisle, the youngest child of Alexa Carlisle. She was up in a meeting during the time of death, and the meeting transcript backs this up. The alibi is a solid one, she's probably not the murderer. Patrick Carlisle, the son of Emma and Gregory Carlisle. His interview didn't make it into the video, but we did see Rosie, the member of staff he went on a date with during the time of the incident. He lost a shirt button, it is yet to be found. A strong alibi. Emma Carlisle, we've heard a lot about her over the course of this video, and I'm certain she's our criminal. She has a strong motive. Alexa Carlisle murdered her father, making this an act of revenge, but she's also going to inherit the mansion, which she seems quite fond of. I believe that the night of the murder, she faked a migraine at around 8 o'clock and went upstairs to her bedroom. She then climbed out through the window, made her way across the ledge, down the drain pipe, and then over to the greenhouse, which she accessed using Zachary's key. This theory is backed up by footprints which I found round the back of the house, which matched those of her shoes. Once in the greenhouse, she used the lab equipment to fabricate a lethal plant-based poison to kill Zachary. She then went all the way back upstairs and used the secret passage to enter Zachary's room. Now, you do need a key to access that secret passage from the outside, and that's where the cane comes in. It turns out the bottom of the cane is actually a key and can be used to unlock the door from the outside. With everyone thinking that Alexa Carlisle, one of the few people Zachary Carlisle was very close to, was dead, it wouldn't be hard to convince everyone that Zachary simply killed himself once he realized that he was truly alone in this world. A fiendish plan. Finally is Mr. Fernsby. He doesn't have much of an alibi, which is a bit suspicious, but, well, I think we've already found our culprit. Besides, although he did have poison, it's the wrong type of poison. And although we could frame him, we probably shouldn't after all the work we put into finding the right person. I'd say it's about time we presented our evidence.
I'm ready to present my conclusion to Madame Carlisle.
Very well. If you'll follow me, sir.
Your detective skills have gained you access to the Lion's Den, 47. Now, go claim your reward.
So, Mr. Whitmer, you've reached a conclusion. Take a seat. Please, go ahead.
Your niece, Emma Carlisle, murdered your brother Zachary.
My niece? Emma is not my niece. She's my daughter-in-law.
And your niece. Emma is the illegitimate child of your late older brother Montgomery, who you and Zachary killed 46 years ago.
That's preposterous.
You asked me to find out what happened to Zachary. Would you rather not know?
No. No, go on.
I found a letter from Emma's mother, Jane, who was the fiancée of your older brother at the time of his death. She witnessed how you and Zachary pushed him off the balcony. She believed you did it to steal the Carlisle empire from her and her unborn child. And she raised Emma to reclaim what she lost, marry your heir, Gregory, get revenge, and secure the Carlisle empire for her bloodline generations to come.
Emma is the daughter of Montgomery and that local girl, Jane.
She is.
Well, the girl got it wrong. I didn't steal anything. I did what was necessary to protect the future of the Carlyles. Montgomery wasn't cut out to take over from Father. All heart and no balls.
Emma used the funeral gathering to speed up her installment as the lady of the house, seizing the opportunity to stage Zachary's suicide. She did her homework, used a poison made from one of Zachary's rare plants, found old floor plans from Thornbridge Manor to gain access to his room through a secret passage.
That scheming bitch.
More than you think. I found proof that she will try to poison you next.
Well, I'll have to take care of that. Thank you, Mr. Whitmer. You have not disappointed. I promised you I would reward you generously if you solved the case. So, what do you suggest?
Let's take the case file.
I want the file you have on Arthur Edwards.
Edwards, the Constant. But how do you... Oh, I see. I expected you might show up. But to kill me, not help me. But I've been wrong on so many things lately, so why not this one? I will give you the file on Edwards. You've earned it. I don't suppose I could convince you to deal with my daughter-in-law now you're here. I would like to see her dead. No? What a shame. I'll have to see to it some other way then.
What's all this about? Nothing important.
The file you want is in the safe. God, I hope you get Edwards and make him hurt. I need some privacy. Thank you.
Good work, 47. That's the file on Arthur Edwards secured. Time to take care of Madame Carlisle.
Well, we could eliminate Miss Carlisle here, or we could go for that very interesting mission story I found earlier. I don't know, we're almost 40 minutes into the video. You know what? We'll do it next time. For now, thanks for watching. I'm Barky, and I'll catch you next time.